Hello, everybody. Happy Independence Day to everyone watching us. As Ghanaians, we're all celebrating our 65th birthday, and it can only get better. I'm so excited about the month of March because, March, I'm a March born, and also I get to celebrate International Women's Day. And also, if you're also in UK, you get to celebrate Mother's Day. And so 4 important events. So March is so special. So I just give a big shout out to all March borns out there. And also happy birthday to all Ghanaians, whether you are abroad or you are in Ghana. We are all celebrating together. And all that we just wish for is for Ghana to get better so that we can all live and enjoy our mother Ghana. Tonight I'm so excited, exceptionally, because we are celebrating International Women's Day, and the theme for this year is break the bias. We're talking about bias towards women in society, and be it in a church, in families, like family setup, or in the church, and also in our various workplaces. So if you happen to work in the corporate world or in the private sector, there's a lot of bias actually being inflicted on women. So tonight we are going to discuss how this bias, how we can collectively deal with this bias and make sure, there can be fairness in terms of equality and also equity towards women. So the purpose for tonight's interview is to celebrate women's achievement, just like I said earlier on, and also to raise awareness against, bias towards women, and also take action for equality. To help me discuss this topic, I have 2 beautiful women who help us, delve into this topic. I have with me Dr. Patricia Owusu-Darko, Owusu-Darko, who, let me read my glasses and wear my glasses, sorry, who is a senior lecturer in food and science technology and also a dean of graduate schools, Kumasi Technical University, Ghana. And also, she is also the national chairperson, Women in Technology, Education and Development. Welcome to the Inside View, Dr. Patricia Owusu-Darko.
Thank you, my gorgeous host.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I have with me another lady, Ivy Adjimah, but I think maybe she will join us as we go on. I think maybe she's having network issues, so we might have to have maybe at some point in time. And I do apologize for any inconvenience caused. So I think Mantic Parts, maybe tonight everything is going to be on you, because I think Ivy is having a little bit of network problems, so we might have to go on. If she joins in, fair enough.
We'll try my best.
you have to do. Since you've gone on live, I can't answer her call to find out what is actually going on, so we might have to just proceed without her. Yeah. So, as we all know, imagine a gender equal world. A world that is free of bias, stereotypes, and discrimination. A world that's diverse, equitable, and inclusive. A world where such differences are valued and celebrated. Women together, we can forge equality. Many a times we say that we are our own enemies, but tonight we are going to educate ourselves and also empower ourselves so that, collectively we'll be able to stand against this bias against us. This is not about any feminism, but we are talking about facts tonight. Sorry. So, Dr. Patricia, for the sake of our listeners, we just want to know a little bit about you. So, if you can just share with us who you are, please.
Okay, thanks so much, Nana. Yeah, that's Nana. Rightfully said. Dr. Patricia Owusu-Darko, and I'm a senior lecturer in food science and technology from Mass Technical University, and the dean of the graduate school. I actually wear a couple more hats, but for want of time, I just keep it as an additional thing that is of relevance to what we are doing today, the national chairperson for women in technical education and development. And it's actually the aim of WITED to see a gender equitable world where women are empowered to impact. Um, I believe that an equal world is an enabled world where the strengths and the talents and the potential of everyone is harnessed to the collective good of everyone. I guess sometimes I wonder and I think, how will you be able to forge or help to forge a gender equal world? For we as women, I believe that it is to celebrate the achievements of women and to bring up those who are feeble or whose needs are a bit weak. This is in quotes. We need to be able to raise the awareness against bias and let people know that this bias exists. And then we take action for equality or equity, I would say. Because if you say equality, it means that giving everyone the same leverage. But for equity, we need to be able to see what is lacking to improve and what is there to encourage. So I believe that, what Nana you are doing is amazing. Today, the topic is of so much relevance because we are looking at a situation where there are many cultural issues that militate against the enhancement of women at workplace, in their homes, and in their communities. And then there are mental stereotypes. Females are sometimes seen as objects, possessions, as objects of pleasure, as things to be owned and not humans to be improved or empowered to impact. And then we have the career stereotypes where people think that if you're a woman, you don't have to go here, or if you're a woman, you should be careful. Otherwise, if you excel too much in an engineering field, you are called a witch, or you are called, a possessed person, you know. And then there are a lot of economic disadvantages for women, a discrimination. So because of that, it's important for us as women, liberated women, empowered women, to bring out and let people know that the bias is there, but it is not hopeless. Something can be done about this bias so that everyone will be able to come up and be the best version of themselves. Actually, I believe if we say gender equity or equality, we are not saying that we are maybe want to be equal to the man. We don't even want to be equal to the.
Dr. Patricia, just hold on a minute because Ivy is on the line. So
Okay.
I just want you to recognize that Ivy's here. So continue. Yeah.
Pardon?
No, Ivy's on the line. I just wanted you to know
Ivy,
that.
okay.
So
Sure.
you can continue. Sorry to interject. But,
yeah. Wonderful. Okay. So I was just wrapping up my intro by saying that it's important that we as women don't think that we are equal to men or equal even to the other person. Our battle now is for us to be a better version of ourselves than we were yesterday. Okay, so if you have that in mind, it's not as if you are competing against someone to win a prize, but competing against our yesterday self to be better, so to be able to impact in a more profitable way to our families, our workplaces, and our countries, and on the global front as well. Because if you have an empowered woman, an enabled woman, and a woman who knows what she has and is able to wear it with pride, then there's got to be the limit to what the world can do or what women can do. But then if women feel that they are just objects and they don't really, they are not worth anything, then there's very little they can contribute. And we all know that women are the very first contact with the younger generation who need to be trained to to become the future leaders. So I'm seeing this topic as very, very, very relevant and something we have to really look at, even beyond the International Women's Day.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I've got Ivy on the line. So Ivy, Adjimah. I don't know, but I think we're still having. She's still, struggling with the network. So maybe at some point in time, she'll still joining. I sincerely apologize to viewers out there for Ivy's network issues. I think it's way beyond her control. So please bear with her. And please, if you're on the line or on Facebook or YouTube watching us, please share this link and also invite as many people for us to all engage in this discussion, because this is about women and it wouldn't be fair if we just have a few people, listening to this insightful discussion. We want to empower as many women as possible. So please, if we want to break the bias inflicted upon us, then I will urge any woman on Facebook, on YouTube, or on any platform watching us to be part of this discussion concerning your questions, your comments, and we will just help you. Read it out, and also if there's any question, yes, Dr. Patricia will gladly, answer those questions. And also I have Ivy who will also contribute with experience. So we will just urge each and everyone to share and also invite our daughters to come and listen, because they are our next generation, and it wouldn't be fair for us to just have discussion without their input, and also being not being educated as to what lies ahead of them in life. So please, let's show ourselves some love by tuning into this insightful discussion. Thank you. Ivy, are you okay now? Ivy's frozen. But Ivy, can you hear me? Can you hear us? Ivy, can you hear me? She's frozen. So I sincerely apologize. Dr. Pat, we are celebrating women internationally. And, the purpose of this interview is to celebrate generations of women who have inspired us, taught us, and also moved us, to change the world that we live in now. So for you, do you have any woman in your life that you want to celebrate today?
Then I come again.
I said, the purpose of tonight's, interview is to celebrate, women in our lives.
Yeah.
And also, women who have inspired us, motivated us, and also taught us, to move the world that we live in now. So for you, do you have any woman that you want to celebrate today?
Am I permitted to mention more than one?
Yes.
Yes.
Because it's women, isn't it? So it's not just women.
I think the first woman I would like to celebrate is my mom, an amazing angel who God gifted me with. A humble woman, very intelligent, would go, all lengths to ensure that her children had the comfort enough to be able to excel.
Mm-hmm.
She rejoiced with us. She came to my graduation when, for all my graduation, she was there, and she was, she's such an amazing support. She's gone, but I still refer to her in the present because I feel her around me, and I feel her celebrating my victories with me. So she's one amazing woman I always celebrate and off my heart too. And then the next person I celebrate is, she was a sister, the headmistress of Every Girl Secondary School, who
Wow.
taught us discipline, the late Mrs. Joyce Esibe. Tough woman, actually the first Black headmistress to head Every Girl Secondary School when the whites left, when the Scottish missionaries left. She was the first Black headmistress. And Every Girls, if you mention Mrs. Joyce Esibe, everyone who was there when she was a headmistress would stand up to her. And I celebrate my sister Caroline, who taught me the virtues of being a dedicated Christian.
Wow.
Mrs. Caroline Williams of blessed memory, she died very young, but the imprint she made in my life are enormous. And I have two amazing sisters too that I celebrate every day, Mrs. Helen Esiama and Mrs. Mary Adjimah. Helen Esiama is the Director for Computer Programs at the Environmental Protection Agency in Ghana here. And Mrs. Mary Adjimah is the first or the foundation registrar of the University of Environment and Sustainable Development in Somenia. So for me, I'm surrounded with women who, who really want to go for the best and be the best version of themselves. Of course, I'm just limiting the women I'm celebrating to my blood relation so that I don't offend anyone. There are a lot more women. If I say I'm celebrating them, I think I'll take the whole show. So let's just keep it as this, because I have come this far because of the mentorship I had from these amazing women in my life as blood relation. I have others I'll celebrate, but I'll write that list for you, Nana.
Wow, wow. That's a very, very, very smart move. That's really smart. You know, why do you think it's so important to celebrate International Women's Day? Why do you think it's so important?
I think International Women's Day should and must be celebrated every year. It should even be done twice a year. It's because of the where we find ourselves as women. So, sometimes I think the men get a bit jealous that we are celebrating International Women's Day, but I think it's because of the disadvantaged position women find ourselves. And so we need to be reminded that we too have something we can offer to the world. Actually, because I'm a scientist, I always use statistics to prove certain things. You know, there's a huge gender gap worldwide when it comes to skills, and especially in my area of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. I'm a biochemist by training, and then a food scientist. You realize that in the sciences, you have very low enrollments of women or ladies. And this translates to low enrollment of women in the STEM educational institutions where I am now. Actually, I think a preliminary study has put women in leadership in technical and vocational institutions at less than 12% here in Ghana. And it is similar in almost all African countries. Women are there, but looks like at the topmost, the statistics are even lower. And then when you come to middle management, you see maybe about 15 to 20%. It's when you get to lower middle management that you realize that there is a 50-50 chance. So it means that we need to remind women more than once in a year that there is something more to them than just the boobs they have. There's something more in them. They have the gifts, they have the intellect, they have the talent, and these will have to be harnessed. And so I think the International Women's Day will give us a chance to think more over and then see, I mean, today I'm a woman. What have I done as a woman to improve my circumstances or the circumstances of those around me or my country? There's so much untapped potential in women. There's inequity and unequal opportunities in a lot of workplaces, especially here in Africa. And then this will hinder productivity because the women will feel demotivated, and then it prevents innovation. So if you have special themes like we have this year, breaking the bias, last year it was arm of Generation Equal, if you're able to remind women at least once a day that there is something in them that could be harnessed to improve the world, to improve the situation of other women in the world and the global picture, then I believe that women will be able to contribute their quota to make the world a better place. So International Men's Day surely must be celebrated more than once in a year.
Wow, wow. I'm so happy that you said that it should be celebrated, more than once in a year. And also women should be constantly be reminded, about
Yes.
how valuable and also how how many things God has deposited in us. So like it talks
Yes.
about, how worthy we are. Let us, digress a little bit. Just looking at now on our social medias, women being I don't know, but then sometimes you watch this things that women are now being let's say being idolized as sexual objects. What do you say to that? And then we are talking about equality and equity, but here's the case where we ourselves, we don't in a way project ourselves well, where we can sort of deserve the kind of equity that we are always pushing for. And also too, we are busy talking about the biases and the discrimination, the stereotypes and everything. But then the big question is, where are the women to help tackle these stereotypes and also discrimination being, I would say, meted against us? Where are the women? What do you say to that?
Okay. As I said earlier, it's important for us right from when the girls are young to let them realize their worth. They should be affirmative. They should know that there is something within them. They don't need to be boys to be appreciated. So right from when they are very young, if they have that positive self-image, it really, really, really helps. And then one statement I always tell my women is that we are not saying that standards should be lowered for females who do not qualify to be admitted or employed or to be given leadership positions. That is not what we are saying. What we are saying is if a female is interested or qualified to pursue a program or a career or an occupation, there should be no barriers.
Okay.
Religious, social, gender, there should be no barriers. That is the statement I believe that every woman who really wants to make an impact should have. I mean, not at the back of the mind, but at the front of the mind, because I believe that an enabling environment should be created for the women to achieve their aspirations and their careers. So that women shouldn't think that, because I'm a woman, the salary should be lowered, so that me too, I can do this or that. No. If you do that, then we are our own enemies against standards and quality. Okay. So what women, I think the first bias I will say is that sometimes the bias of women against ourselves by expecting that standards should be lowered because we are women so that we can, have an advantage. No. What we are saying is that women should strategically position themselves so that in spite of everything shouting against them, we know that they are qualified, but the system will need to be corrected to absorb the qualified women. Because if it's okay, women, we need to employ you. Bring your qualifications, bring your papers, and bring all your documents for us to look at. And for instance, we are expecting maybe you to have conducted 3 or 4 workshops and you have only 1, and the man has 4 or maybe 5. Then you cannot say that because you're a woman, it should be given to you. But then if you have prepared yourself, met all the targets and the benchmarks, then we say that you should be given equal opportunity as a man. So the biases are, that's how I was explaining in the introductory. We have our social biases, we have people thinking that women are just some possessions and all that. But I believe that if right from when they are girls, we catch them young, and train them. Here in Kumasi University, what we do is sometimes we bring the girls in tertiary and take them through coding, networking, Internet of Things. We take them through and expose them to certain engineering aspects that some girls are afraid of. So they end up wanting to explore, and then they come in. If that happens, then that fear and that stereotype in their minds are broken. So I believe that a lot more will have to be done. And you can do this if you have the female mentors who have prepared themselves, empowered themselves, not as feminists, no, but as people who think that, yes, this is what I can do, this is what I can do very well. The men can compliment, but then I shouldn't be disadvantaged because I'm a woman. So the women, as you ask, where are they? They are there, but all of them need to be pulled out so that those who are older and have accomplished will be recognized, celebrated, and put as mentors and coaches for the younger generation. So if they look up and they say, oh, Dr. Pat she did biochemistry, she did food science, and now she's lecturing, she's doing so much, then I'm a mentor to someone, even if I don't know. And then I'm a coach to someone because I'm able to get in touch with that person and impart the little I know to that person. So I think, yes, we need to strategically position ourselves to be of help to the up and coming young ladies so that when they come to fill our place, they too will be able to impact the next generation.
Okay. I have Ivy. Let's see if we'll be able to catch Ivy.
Hello.
Hello, Ivy. Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah,
Hello.
I had network problems. So I'm in my car. I have to move out of the house and then park somewhere to get
to understand. Ivy is a banker and also an actress. And then finally, she's here with us, and I'm so happy because she's also, going to give us a different dimension to this interview, and I'm so happy to have you on board. Ivy, tonight we are talking about International Women's Day. We are celebrating women all over the world, even though it happens to be on Tuesday. But because of your work schedules, we've tried to move it a bit forward, to celebrate women. So, tonight we are talking about the barriers, the biases against women. So we want you to give us, some of the biases against women in the arts industry. Some of the the biases and some of the issues that we face as women in that industry, or maybe like in the private sector.
Yeah. Okay. I'm happy to be in two worlds. I'm in the corporate space and the creative art space. So, and the difference is vast. Well, discrimination in Ghana, we've moved very far from discrimination. We've moved from when a child wasn't allowed to go to school, where parents didn't find it important to allow girls to go to school. We moved from that, and now most of us are in school, and most of us are doing well. And those working in the corporate world, there are some of the discrimination that the system does not allow and the law does not allow. So we have laid down procedures where any form of discrimination can be reported through. So we are a step ahead. But the problem we have is perception, stereotyping, and then there are perception, discrimination through perception and stereotyping. In the corporate world, for instance, you could find yourself ladies in the reproductive age can be discriminated upon because they'll get pregnant, they'll have children, so it affects promotion and some vital positions that they are capable of taking up wouldn't be given to them because for the virtue that they will be taking a lot of maternity leave and so on. And then we have discrimination and I just say, you know, it goes with abuse, isn't it, Abner?
Yeah. Yes,
Discrimination goes with abuse, you know, when you know, sometimes, you know, when you are given a position, the perception is, oh, the first thing that someone says is, oh, she's so beautiful. It's because she's beautiful. You see, it's because she's beautiful. So there is that perception that a beautiful lady gets a position and she sleeps around. She has to sleep with someone to get that a position. These are the things we are fighting with now. These are the things we are fighting. These are the kind of discrimination. There's kind of stereotyping that goes on now. In the creative space, I think you see, when this time it behoves of us to be discriminated against or not. We have to be strong. We have to be strong to report discrimination. We have to be strong to stand up to discrimination. I don't know if you are getting me.
Yes, I'm getting you. But, you know, in the private sector, I mean, for instance, where, you know, you can easily be fired and where you don't have any avenue to report any such discrimination, such biases. I mean, in such situations, what do you reckon women should do? Because in the corporate world, you know, like in the public sector, or should I say the government sectors, I mean, there are structures where, you know, women can report, can have their challenges or their, you know, issues heard. But in the creative industry, or like in the private industry, or in society in general, be in church, be in the family or whatever, sometimes women are so restricted. Sometimes, you know, because of family issues, because of, you know, certain ties, women are not bold enough to report such discriminations.
Yes, it's because society condones this kind of discrimination. You see, the culture, our culture also helps let the women to be discriminated against. Yes, you see, for instance, when a woman reports that, oh, that my employer wants to sleep with me before he gives me employment, you know, the way, if she dares talk about something, the way society will bash her, the kind of things people would say will even prevent her from reporting. So it's the culture. Keep quiet. Things and don't say it. It's a taboo. Don't say it. You are a woman. You are not supposed to say these things. You know, your dignity. You are selling your dignity. This and that and that. So society also helps. Society is not helping us at all because you know, when we talk about the creative arts, the creative space, for instance, now what is happening is, ladies, women are, you know, I don't know how to say, they are celebrated not on their capabilities, but their beauty and their figure. They are not taking into consideration, the bloggers especially, are not taking into consideration the talent we have, but the figure, and then the ability to post what do you say, nudity. Is that nudity?
Yeah.
And it's not helping us. So we are being used as objects in the creative art, which is very discriminatory, and we support. Ladies we allow ourselves to be used that way. That's what I'm talking about. Society. We allow ourselves to be used as objects. When you go to the music industry, look at the video, music videos around. What are the roles that are given to women? They just parade themselves in swimming costumes, or just virtually naked in the video. You see, so we sometimes society does it, and we allow ourselves. Why should we be used to attract market? So in a creative space, the example that I'm giving, how can you go and report once you have given yourself up to be used as an object?
Yeah. Okay.
So as Dr. Pat rightly said, we need to conscientize our ladies from the primary school, because what we've gotten to is getting somewhere. Though we've shifted from one stage to another, we are getting another form of problems.
Yeah.
We are getting another form of problems. You see. So that is it. In where I work, it will be very difficult for the system does not allow ladies to be discriminated against, and then because we have laid down policies and then procedures that if you feel discriminated against or you feel abused, you can go through and then get your problems are there. Yes, but I have reports that in the private, I don't know, in the private, some of the private banks, women are praised based on the number, based on the amount of money that your client has in his account. You are made a relationship manager. You are made a relationship manager to clients, and then you are being promoted and appraised based on the amount that the client have in his account. How what word should I use? How fair is it? So you have to convince your client not to take money out at a point, because if there is no money, then it means in his account, it means no promotion. So what happens? Okay, then let me sleep with you. If I sleep with you, I won't take out my money. It happens.
Wow.
It happens. It happens. So it's a system that is creating the avenue for ladies to be abused in some cases.
In some cases. Dr. Pat.
In some
yes. Thank you so much, Ivy. But Dr. Pat, why do you think anytime we celebrate women, men tend to associate such celebration with feminism, like these women are feminists and they are just celebrating feminism, or should I say these women are too loud, they just want to be celebrated, they just want to be known, and for that matter, they are not humble enough. And, now, as women are getting empowered, are getting educated, we've seen in our societies how, families are being broken, how it's affecting, so many things. In church, I know, like in certain, churches, they advocate that it's not, biblical for a woman to be overly educated more than a man. So in a way, women are, they have a certain limit that they just hit. They don't want to even aspire, maybe masters or PhD, because they think their men should be more educated than their wives. What do you say to that? I mean, how is women being empowered or educated associated with feminism, or women being feminist? How?
Okay, thanks, Nana. I think before I even answer that, I want to just add a little bit to what Auntie Ivy said. I'm sitting here and I'm thinking that you realize that apart from the fact that these girls are paraded in music videos almost naked, look at the funds that are pumped into beauty pageants. Against funds for empowering women, funds for child education, funds for getting the girls into the courses they want to do, strategies for that. If you look at the ratio, we all know where that will stand. And I think Auntie Ivy will be the best person to do that ratio for us. What goes into the beauty pageants? I mean, have we ever given a very brilliant girl a car for maybe winning something?
No,
We have to think
I don't
about
know.
that.
No.
Yes. See, you have to look
Not
at
that I know of.
how. Yes. And to answer the question, Nana, men are jealous because they realize that once we are empowered, they'll lose us. They'll lose their hold on us. But I think rather they should be happy. They should be happy because if your wife is empowered, your children become more enlightened. So, I mean, I believe that the men shouldn't be jealous. They shouldn't be jealous at all. We understand that they think we are being pampered. Anyway, we are God's last born, so we should be pampered anyway. But on a more serious note, I think that if you have an educated wife, time management, seeing to their children's homework, ensuring that things run well. If I say educated, I don't mean school educated. Because there are several forms of education. I don't mean maybe someone with a paper qualification or anything. But if you have a wife or a woman that is empowered, that is enlightened in your home, you stand to gain better, because in future, people will talk about your children and your children call you blessed because you had someone to support you to take care of those children. And so I believe that, yes, the men get jealous because they think they have to be celebrated, but they have been celebrated for a very long time. Men, the little thing that men do, they are celebrated. We have women who have really been trailblazers. We have the Maria Winkelmann. First, in those times when astronomy wasn't mentioned even in the men's world, women like that who have to mention so that girls will know that you don't just have to sit and sell granules. There is more. You can move up to the skies and all that. We have Mariam, who was a zoologist in those days. Laura Bassi, first one professor in physics in the whole world. We have Lady Mary Wortley, who introduced smallpox vaccine in England. When women achieve these things and we are mentioning, we just put them in their shadow. Sometimes, if you are in a team and you are the person who did it, you, the woman, you may end up at the third or fourth to be acknowledged. We have Dorothea, the first female medical doctor in Germany. We have a lot of women who are always mentioning to the girls that, look, these women have been able to do this. We have women who are presidents of countries, not small villages. They are presidents of countries. We see Finland. We see even now. We see even here in Africa. We have women. We have the EU chair. She's a woman. I just love her so much. And then we used to have my dear Chancellor,
Liberia.
the man Chancellor who
Yeah.
has handed over to a man.
Yeah, Angela Merkel. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have these women that we have to stand, project to the girls that these women have made it. You too, you can make it. We have women who have broken the forces in mathematics. Even here in Ghana, there are women who have had first class in mathematics. In Ghana, here in KNUST, we have women who have done physics and excelled. So there were last year there was a woman who collected about 9 of the awards in medicine.
Wow.
She was a girl. So we have to encourage our ladies.
And then we have women like you. Women like you.
Yeah. And women like you, because I can count on my fingertips how many women bank managers we have in Ghana.
Wow.
They are not plenty. So our point is that there is so much potential in our ladies. In Ghana here, people have done a lot of things. So let the ladies know that we are celebrating the International Women's Day to draw their minds to the fact that we have women who have been trailblazers, who have marked the path for us to be able to walk on. So when you get to where we have reached, you open it for the next generation to come and maybe walk that path. Because if you don't do that and we just sit, okay, me, I'm okay, I have my PhD, I'm okay, then you don't impact. And I think God will ask you on the judgment day that what did you do with the opportunity I gave you? Because God hasn't given us the opportunity to be women of substance or to have accomplished so much, to sit in our offices and boast. We have to go out there and impact the women. Sometimes the women will see us working and they are impacted because they see their colleague. Hey, Dr. Pat was pregnant when she was doing her PhD, but she was able to finish, have a baby, and come back, and she's working. So if someone sees that you are doing that, then the person too says that, okay, me too, I can become pregnant and work. So I believe that by the way we work and by how we carry ourselves, and then pulling the women closer to us, sometimes they get intimidated. But I believe that if we put them close to us and let them know that, yes, it's the grace of God that has brought us this far. I bring you close to me, and the grace of God will carry you along. And I believe that the sky will be the limit to what those even behind us can do. Because I remember when I was doing my PhD, the technology wasn't this good for us.
Yes.
If you had to make a call, you had to go and buy a card and come and make the call. You couldn't even have this meeting. It would have meant me either coming to UK with Auntie Ivy or you, Nana, coming down here. But now we are able to do it. It's amazing what they can do. If maybe we show them the little we're able to do when technology wasn't so good. So I believe that we should celebrate. The men can be jealous, but to just pat them at the back and say, oh, please don't worry. We need 2 more days to celebrate women.
Wow. Do you know what? There's also a notion that the more we got empowered, educated, and everything, all that, women are so now in the eyes of men. Some men, not all men. Some men, like women are now, pompous. We are so arrogant, so we don't, quote unquote, submit, in that thing. So, in a way, most men find educated women or, women who are so empowered, very arrogant, very, no submissive. And so in that matter, and, they tend to forget that now women are also equally working, to bring in more money to help run the house and everything. What do you say to that? Because we have a lot of women who want to further the education, who want to learn a trade, but sometimes they are scared, to lose their marriages or to, not too sure what might happen if they get that kind of empowerment. What do you say to such women? Any of you can take it. Yes.
You see, we are not getting the support of our men because of the culture. The culture, the African culture, says a woman must be, when we talk about a submissive woman, then you must be there in the house doing nothing, just cooking and tidying up, cleaning the house and everything. But we've forgotten that things have changed. Things have changed from when the girl child is supposed to sit at home. You are not supposed to go to school. Now we are all going to school, and we are all in the same, employment level of employment, and the women are even getting there more. You see, so men with their bloated egos. Sorry, not all of them, but it's the culture that has made us so. See women, successful women, as arrogant. It's not like they are arrogant. Now, the definition of arrogance has changed. It's when you are successful, you are arrogant. In the olden days, the man was the breadwinner of the house, the breadwinner, and the woman just takes money from the man, and then that is called submission. Now, we are even earning more than the men. So, but the men are not able to take it. They are not able to accept that the change. They still, most of them still see it. Look, you can go in for someone, a woman who is not educated. No, I mean formal education. I'm talking about who is not educated, who doesn't work. But very, very, very disrespectful to their husband. I've seen a lot. Yeah. They are even worse. They treat their husbands very, very, very bad. But they are able to keep those women. Now, when you look at the stats, most successful women are divorced. Most successful women have been what's the name? Have their husbands running away from them, which is a worry. It will get to a time. I'm getting worried for the men because now we are being empowered. Women are being empowered. It will get to a time that a man will find it difficult to get a wife, because from where I sit, to be frank, from where I sit, there are a lot of women who have decided not to get married. I know a lot of women who have gone for this in vitro fertilization, and they have their children. They don't have husbands, and they like it too, because of the abuse, jealous abuse. Yes, that's another word. The abuses we get out of the jealous abuse, of the jealousy of men. I am one of them. That's why I know what I'm saying. And from where I sit, I get a lot of reports from my ladies. The men are not appreciating successful women.
Wow.
They are not. And it's a problem. I think it's a culture. It's our culture. It's our tradition. Why do you allow your wife to do this? Why do you allow your wife to do this? Our sisters-in-law are talking. Our mother, our in-laws are talking. Why do you allow? And then this and this and that and that. We are working now. We are all working. So, I mean, when we used to cook, wash, and do everything was when women were not working. When you are a housewife, then you have to do all the house chores. But now that we are career women, we want to do it, but we cannot do it as a housewife would do it.
We are not superwomen, isn't it?
Exactly.
We are not. I know a lady who came complaining to me that her husband doesn't take food that has been cooked previously. She has to cook everything fresh. She has to cook everything, and the lady is a banker. She said, President, I have to cook. If it's palm nut soup that the man wants, when I come back, I have to cook palm nut soup. If he sees that I took it from the fridge, he won't eat. So we have a lot of challenges. Yeah, we have a lot of challenges.
I know.
And to add to it,
say, there are some men who are very, very supportive. I'm not saying, but most of them are not. Most of them are not. You know, when the way when they see that you are richer or you are making it, they devise all means to take the money from you and then go and give it to someone they think they can control. I'm talking about something that is happening. It's not theory. It's not book. I'm talking about things that are happening to us.
Wow.
These things are happening.
Wow.
So we have a long way to go, Auntie Pat, and we have a very long way to go.
So this is the issues actually affecting us in our society. So we'll be going, to talk about the biases or the bias towards women in our workplaces. So, before then, Auntie Pat, if you have anything to add to what Ivy said.
Yes, I wanted to add a little bit to Ivy's submission that when you are assertive, not when you are assertive and you don't bend to certain compromises, people think you are arrogant. Okay, so if our assertiveness as women will be misconstrued as people who are proud or people who can submit, and I think that people have to go back and look at the definition, because sometimes that's why these things we are doing is very, very important, because if we empower women and like Auntie Ivy is saying, these things are happening. So whoever has a challenge in the workplace knows that I'm not the only one facing it. So there could be a support group to take care of such women. Because right now, women are supposed to work as if you don't have children. And then when you go to the house too, you have to, bring up their children as if you don't work. So if you as a woman, you don't really bring in the balance and, you don't become strategic, you can break down. Because you come home and it's okay for a man to go and check on his car at the mechanic's place, but then a woman can't take the child to the hospital when the child is sick. Sometimes these are some of the issues that we have to look at, and I'm like, what is happening? Because a sick child demands the parent's attention more than a broken down vehicle. But then a man it's very, very okay for a man to say that on the way my car broke down, I have to go pass through the mechanic. Let a man say that my child was sick, I have to pass the hospital, and they will say, oh, every day you have an excuse. But that I'm not saying women should come and with excuses every day. But sometimes genuinely women are overtaxed and you have to work as if you don't have children and do the house chores as if you don't work. And it's high time. It's high time women got a bit more wiser and then thought more about themselves, so that they'll be able to take care of themselves, to be able to impact. And then the biases, I believe that for me, every time I say the biases, we cannot take 1 day or 2 days, or even a year or 5 years, because all the work that was really done in a collaborative way pre-COVID, with the onset of COVID, I think the issues on getting the agenda of women, the equity, equality has gone down a bit because all the focus was on COVID.
Yeah.
And I read a piece that made me laugh. I think COVID claimed more men than women. That is the only thing that, came to our advantage in quotes, But then, with the biases, I believe that to be able to take care of them, you have to be able to identify them, as we have all. As we've all talked about, we have the gender biases, the stereotypes at work, and all those. They are there. You have to identify. But then I think each group or each career group has specific stereotypes that we have to look at. We have the general ones. I believe that we will need to have some support group systems for career women, maybe for those in the banking industry, because the peculiarities there are similar. Then we take for those of us in education, and then we take those of us maybe in business. Because sometimes if the business one have to tell you what they have to go through when they travel with the suppliers and their partners over there, you will weep.
Yeah.
Just because men want to come stand on our feet and do something.
Yeah.
So I believe that as a system, if we're able to get an action plan for each identifiable group for support so that we can have specific activities. As I was explaining, here in Kumasi Technical University, we have the weighted group, very vibrant, and then we also bring in the pre-tertiary students and our WOCOM sometimes. And so we bring the pre-tertiary group, and then what we do is we expose them so the girls know that this and this can happen. And then we allow women to come in, accomplished women to come and tell their story. Tell them where they were when they were like them and where they have come to. And it really encourages. So I think we need to, maybe this shouldn't be a one-off talk show. We need to come again. What are the support systems that we are putting in for career women who are going through these? Who are the coaches? Who are the mentors for the up and coming young women? So that if they know that we have been through it, then they'll learn from our mistakes and our successes, and then they'll be able to become better for their community and for the world at large.
Okay. When I was actually, I would say, just researching into this break the bias issue.
Mama, your volume is off. I can't hear at all.
Is it off? Yeah, can you hear me now?
What's happening to my volume?
Ivy, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So then I came across the issue with women.
I think I've lost you. I can't hear at all.
But I can hear you clearly.
I can hear you. I can hear you, Doc. I can hear you.
Yeah, but Ivy, can you hear me? Ivy, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you.
The issue with, apart from pregnancy, women who go into child labor and stuff like that. Now there's an issue with women, going through menopause, where they go through hot flashes, insomnia, depression, through that period. Women are saying that issue is not catered for. And also, apart from gender pay gap, now there's also an issue with pension pay gap, where now men, the pension, it will take about 30 over whatever years for women to catch up, with the same amount of pension that, women can be entitled actually for. I read something from the Scottish Widows, in the UK here. It says, to mark this year's International Women's Day, the analysis reveals that women in this age group, that is between 65 and 74, will on average have pension savings worth 130,000, that's pounds. That's for women. Whereas men will just retire with 260,000 in their pot. So now there's an issue with pension gap, and also, apart from gender pay gap, which we always, talk about, because some of us, we have to break to look after our children, or also we need to take, some low skill jobs, in order to fit into our family structures. So, like, what do you say to that? Because both of you work in the corporate world. So I just want, if there's anything that you can say just to encourage women to still actually go on and still get empowered, and also, and get educated.
Well, well, from where I am coming from, we don't have that kind of problem
Mm-hmm.
because we are a male and a female are all paid the same. I mean, depending on the grade you are, you are not discriminated against. Once you are on that grade, whether you are a woman or a man, you take that
Mm-hmm.
salary. That is for us. And then the pension and everything. You know, it's a structured institution. So the policies are there, and everyone is a staff. There's nothing like a pay structure for women and pay structure for men.
Okay,
So
but then
we
we still have women talking about men, or women doing the same job, as men, but yet they still get paid lower than men. It's all over, like in the news everywhere. So maybe in your at your place of work, maybe things are properly structured. So you
yes,
might not have, come across such a situation. But we have women, especially in the Western world, always advocating for equal pay, equal
yes.
pension, and yes.
Wow, wow. Yeah, but in the creative arts, I know, especially in the music industry, I have heard complaints of ladies being discriminated against. The women, they are always complaining that because they are women, these kind of monies that comes to them, it's when the men take more than them. But in the movie industry, we know that the women take more than the men. But in the music industry, the men take more than the women. That is what I've heard. I'm yet to investigate and get to what their complaints are about. I just hear the complaints that that's it. But for where, because I started work in the bank from school. I've
Okay.
never done anything apart from, I've never worked anywhere. Right from the university, I went to the bank and I've been there 25 years now.
Wow. Wow.
Yes, yes. So I am privy to what happens in the bank. But for other institutions and the creative arts. So as you are saying, I now know that these problems are happening somewhere else, which is very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. Why? Why should this happen? Why should men be paid more than women? What is the reason for it? Is it
Because
because
they
is it
they they,
because
they
of
say
the
that,
lost time to
yes,
pregnancy, and then
pregnancy, and
the
also,
time we take to look
yes,
after our children, and
yeah.
so that is okay, and then that is very unfortunate. And then something must be done about it. Don't you think so, Abner?
Yes, yes, yes. I mean, because obviously, we are just two, species that God created, isn't it? A man and a woman. And
Yes,
it happens that we are the species that carries a baby, isn't it? That carries another
yes,
human being. So obviously, it's we are the ones actually, to take some break, to nurture our children, to raise the home. But it happens that any time you take on such a thing, you get penalized, especially at your place of work. Like we have times that your children get sick, your children become a
Yeah.
bit, unwell, where you have to take them to the hospital. So all
Yeah.
these things actually counts against you. You understand what I
Yes.
mean? So during your appraisal time, when you're not
Yes.
able to meet certain targets, it means you will not be, in a way to maybe to actually go up, in terms of your career progression. And yes, I mean, yet we have men, 24/7 that they go to work, but they are not directly, they are there, but they can go to work whether children are
I
sick or
think
not. I mean,
yes
some men,
or
I mean,
no.
not all men. So I mean, to get
Most men.
penalized, I mean, for the fact that you have to raise children, you have to nurture the home, you have to, make sure the family is intact, and then some way somehow, your pay also gets undercut because you are a woman. I don't think it's fair. So these are some of the things that on such a day we are saying that this kind of bias needs to stop.
Yes. So these are the basis of some biases in our organizations. It's
Yeah.
everywhere. It's everywhere. It affects our promotion. It affects
Yeah.
the positions that we take because if they think the position is vital, then as a woman in a certain age group will not be given that position. You see, that's
Yeah.
the bias. Yes, because they assume that no, you are going to one day say you are pregnant, you are going on maternity leave, and you do this and that and that. So yes, rightly said, the biases are there. That one, I will not lie to you. It's everywhere, including where I am. They are there. The bias and the stereotyping are there.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
So it's minimal. They are there. So we just Abna, we need, as Doc said, we need to support each other. To form support group, we need to bring it out because we shouldn't pretend that they are not there. They are there. So we should work down about it. You see, I always say that. I always say that we need to empower each other, ladies. When the ladies are the best, we are better than the men. Look, in the house, in the house. Oh yes, in the house.
I
Look,
mean, you don't mince your words
Abner,
at all.
if a man, if let's take a household, if a man leaves, yes, if a man leaves the house, the house is there's can go to the churches. The lady, we the women are organizing. I mean, we are managers. But when it gets to our workplaces, and then to take leadership positions, we start running away. We start running away. We are not able. We don't have the confidence to take such leadership positions in our organizations. Why?
I think sometimes, there's also a notion that we are our own enemies. As women, we are our own enemies because we have women who've actually made it. They are up there, but to provide mentorship or even to help the young ones also to grow is a problem. You know what I mean? So sometimes, in as much as a lot of young women want to look up to these big mamas, our big mamas also feel so big that they don't want to also, provide mentorship for these young ones. So, in a way, in as much as we are talking about, the discriminations against us, sometimes I believe that we are, when we get to a certain point, we become so it gets too much into our head, and we think we are better than any other women or any other woman, sorry, around. And so sometimes we tend to bully, the young ones as well. So I think we have to have a balanced discussion, especially on this one. So, as powerful women, as you are, you are, let's address issues so that we can pull, all the women with us, the young ones who have lost confidence in our big mamas, because I think there's a music by Wendy that said Monche or Kwano, you're branding motivational speakers and stuff like that. And sometimes it's true. They want our mothers, or the women who've actually made it, to come down to their levels. Trust me, just like we were talking about, the nudity and stuff like that. Most young, these young girls, they've never had any mentorship, no mothers in their lives. Some of them, not all of them. So they just go with the flow. So if such discussions, and also if women of your caliber can maybe from day to day, just like you said, conscientize our up and coming, girls, to know how worthy they are, to remind them of how intelligent, and also to remind them of how, empowered, and also how God has actually gifted them with so much abilities. That's my, little take on that. So if anyone can add something to it, I'm open to it. Dr. Pat, you left us, so maybe you just came in. So if you want to add something to it, I'll be so happy. Yeah.
Yes, okay. Yes, I agree so much that we need mentors that the young, the up and coming women could look up to. That is really critical. And then, as I said earlier, we need to catch them young, when they are very young, and then they know that they have mentors, they have these people around them. So that's why I started by talking about those who are in my very close circles as those I celebrate, because they are good example, really put me in the stead that you cannot do anything less than your star has done. You need to be up. We cannot just have you finish maybe BEC and go and sell granite. No, the least person here has a bachelor, so you better get yourself up there. So there is that the effect of mentorship that cannot be underrated, or yes, we need to have female mentors around, accessible, as you were saying, approachable, that if there's anything the younger ones can learn from. And I believe that if we even make an effort to be better at what we are doing, then looking up to us, we say that she's even trying to be better than she is. So don't let us rest. Let's get ourselves even better, because sometimes the women are too comfortable in their corners, too comfortable. I just want to come to work. I don't want to do anything. I just want to come to work, get my salary and go. There's more to it than just coming to work.
Yeah.
So, we should, just step out of our comfort zones and then keep in our minds that we need to be better. We cannot sit there and expect that, okay, the opportunities are there. Now all girls are allowed to go to school. You go to school, but don't just go to school and come and get yourself pregnant midstream. You go to school, you have your plan to be able to make a good person out of yourself. The girls should know the job opportunities that are there without any limitations or any stereotyping. Then they can decide to choose whatever they want to choose. And if they know from when they are young that this is what I want to become, the temptations will come, but they'll be able to focus and get something out of their lives. I believe that in our system, we will have to encourage the up and coming ladies to appreciate themselves and to believe in themselves, because there are some people, as we said earlier, all they hear are negative comments, whatever they do, is met with negative comments. So they don't have a good image about themselves. So they end up performing in a very mediocre way at work. But I believe that our first point of call is to make sure that we instill that self-confidence in our ladies. You know, if they appreciate themselves, there is so much they can do. There is so much they can do. So it means that those we are working with, those we interact with, they need to know that they have something to offer. I don't know it all. My secretary can help me, my registrar can help me, my colleague in the other directorate can help me. So if you know that, then there's that circle of interdependency that will inure to the benefit of everyone.
Yeah.
And I believe that if we focus, we let them focus on virtue, you know, being a virtuous man instead of having a facial beauty or the vital stats like Auntie Ivy said. If we let them know that their quality doesn't depend on how they look or how they do not look, but then their virtue is the most important asset they can have. If we end up making them virtuous, then it means that they are assets to their nations and their communities. And then I believe that a woman who knows her value will be able to do so much. The virtuous woman will accept and impact the younger generation. But then again, the virtuous man will also accept the impact of the men in their life. Because of course, we all have men in our lives. We have our fathers, we have our husbands, we have our brothers, we have our friends, and we have, our managers and our work colleagues. You know, we are not saying that you don't need them, no. But we complement each other's effort to make the world a better place for the up and coming females who take our positions in the future. So, for me, I always pray that I become the Proverbs 31 woman. The girls are mentoring, or the ladies are mentoring to become the Proverbs 31 woman, so that it will be a better place for us. Then when women meet, we'll not gossip, but we'll be talking about issues that will build the nation and not just sit and gossip about people and about things. Yeah.
Wow. You know, before your network actually just broke down, we were talking about issues like women who go through menopausal problems.
Yes. Yeah.
No, like apart from pregnancy, it's also an issue that most organizations don't cater for. And it's also a form of discrimination against women. And also, apart from gender pay gap, we are now dealing with pension pay gap. But then, of course, I said that, where she works, she's never experienced anything like that, because once you happen to be on the same band, with the men, obviously you get an equal pension. But I just came across the statistics that I read, from the Scottish Widow, and I'm thinking this is not right, where men will earn twice, more than what women will earn for their pension, due to taking some time out to raise their children, for I would say maternity leave, and all these things. And also sometimes we have to take lower positions so that we don't take in lots of responsibilities, so that we can still raise our families. And I'm thinking we shouldn't get penalized.
Yeah.
Taking some time out to raise family, because it's part of how God meant family to be. So to me, it's a form of discrimination that we should also now learn to shed light on. Women going through menopause, where they come to work with mental fog, they come to work with flashes, and all these things. You know what I mean? So it's an area that I'm thinking it should be also looked into, and also the pension bias. I don't know about Ghana, but here is an issue. Almost on a daily basis, we get to hear it on BBC. Women fighting for equal pension pay. It's so ridiculous. So on a day like this that we are celebrating women, I think these are some of the issues that we should learn, or also look into, and also try to educate our bosses on, because menopause I mean, it's part of life, isn't it? And
Yes.
So I think if you missed out on, like
Yeah.
this was the issue that we were talking about. Yeah. And I know we are gradually coming to close of our discussion. But before we go, I want us to discuss policies that can empower women to ensure meaningful representation and also provide women at the workplace network of tools and support for gaining employment. What are some of the policies that, having worked in the corporate circles, that you think can help women, and also maybe the tools that women we can also help? I mean, that will help us.
Doc, since you are in the education,
I mean, what are some of the policies that you think
I just want to touch a bit on the menopause issue, and then I think it's a brilliant thing. And I don't think any establishment has really thought about including issues on menopause and care for, because it's not only the menopausal ladies who are tipped for leadership positions in the corporate world and in education. So issues on menopause will have to be tackled so that menopausal women are not disadvantaged at all. Okay, I believe that for the policies, we have a lot of things that could help women thrive. I'll say thrive in, not survive at workplaces. Women need to thrive. They need to blossom from one level to the other.
Yeah.
But for now, we see a lot of women just surviving at workplaces. So there should actually be gender-sensitive policies that will help promote the good of the woman. So first off, I think every corporate system or educational institution needs a gender directorate or a gender desk where issues on women are discussed. Okay. So the role of that desk or that schedule officer will be to look at all issues on women, sexual abuse and discriminations of all sorts, meaning that every institution would need a gender policy to sort of guide the desk or the schedule officer in his or her work. So that if anything happens, the person didn't be, fingers wouldn't be pointed at him that maybe he's taking too much upon himself or herself. So we need to have a gender desk, and it's imperative that people respect the role of that desk. And again, there should be policies like, if possible at all, could establishments that have very long hours have a form of a creche, or collaborate with another institution to have a creche, so that, childbearing women wouldn't have to rush, go home, to think about, what's happening to my child. Because if there's a crash in a bank and the bank closes at 7, then the workers at the crash will have to synchronize their closing time with the bank closing time. Then the mother will have a peace of mind to work, and then the baby too, or the child, will be safe at that place. So some of these issues, if handled at that's what I was saying earlier, that if we have, we're able to look at the needs of each system, they'll be able to map it with certain strategies. And then when we are formulating our gender policies, they'll be captured, because the peculiarities in KSTU, for example, or in the technical universities, may be different from what happens or what pertains in the bank. So if we're able to look at these, and then again, another important thing is the opportunities for women to enhance themselves, whether it's through short courses, whether it's through further studies. There should be equal opportunities given to both men and women. It should be equitably, dispersed, so that if maybe the ratio of men to women is maybe 7-3, then there should be that ratio. Because sometimes you realize that some systems are, bereft of women representation. There are some institutions when you go, top management, no woman. Second level, no woman. And if you have any woman at all, it may be a government nominee and not a woman from the system who is capable of being part of a system to make it better. So there should be, I mean, maybe policies governing the inclusion of women in leadership positions. We are not saying that we should be in there even if we don't qualify. But if there are qualified women who can improve upon the system, then there should be policies that will encourage the system to at least include a minimum number of women in leadership. Then that will help, because sometimes when it's an all-men leadership making policy, sometimes it's too hard. It's too hard, and then so there's no feminine touch and there's no compassion sometimes. So if you're able to have a little bit of representation of women, then it means that at least there will be that gender sensitivity when it comes to policies from up there. Yes, I think these are some of the things that I like to put forward.
Yeah, Auntie Ivy, do you have anything? Thank you so much, Dr. Pat. Thank you. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, this is, yeah. These are things that are very necessary. It's very good that you touch on this. And I just want to add, in my place, nursing mothers close at 3. They instead of 5, they close at 3 to go and they take care of their children instead of 5 until their children are 1 year of age. And then with all the policies that you've mentioned, we have them. We have ladies, a number of ladies being the heads of departments, which is a managerial position, and then we even have a female deputy governor. So, and then we have the ethics office, where gender issues and all staff issues are, investigated and looked at. And then we also have a counseling session at the medical department, where you can take all your issues to. So that's it. You spoke about the crèche. I remember that when I came to the bank, the bank had employed people to go around. We call them school duty staff. They go around all the primary schools to pick up our children, so that you don't have to think or worry about how your children go home. You just take a list of where the schools that our children are, and then they just go in and they know everybody's house, and they just go and put your child in your house, and then that's it. But now we are advocating for crèche. So the crèche system is coming. I think the school duty. So these are policies that should be extended to all institutions that have women as staff. So that's it. Yes, that's it, Mr. Pat. And then I want to add this. I want to say this. Women who have made it. Women, we are our own enemies. So we are our own enemies. Some of us are so intimidated by the qualities of the upcoming ladies. So instead of us to mentor them, to bring them up, we shut them down and we sit on them. You see, it happens. It happens. We always see someone who is assertive to be loud and disrespectful, and we are complaining that we are being discriminated against. But we, the women, also discriminate against ourselves, each other. So we have to, calm down, and then see the upcoming ladies not as threats, because just put it in your mind that, look, even if they tie me down for 5 years, she will not get to my level. So let's bring them up. Whatever characteristics, whatever traits we see in them, let's use them positively. That's what will help us. Because if the person talks If the person is forward, you can mentor her to be a good lobbyist for you. You know, instead of you thinking that she's disrespectful, she talks too much. And the problems that ladies have, most of them are from ladies. The men are a bit nice to us. Our lady bosses, sometimes they are too, tied up. We should loosen up small. We should loosen up. And then and take these ladies and mentor them. You see, that's why I like our lady Javna. My goodness, she is so selfless. I don't know. She doesn't, she's not intimidated by anyone. She brings us up together. She encourages us to as a president. She encourages me to use in-house ladies for our activities most of the time. Most of the time we invite speakers when we have activities. We invite speakers from outside to come and talk to us, to come and educate us. But she insists that we should use in-house people. There are people who are good. Let's give them the opportunity to come up. Let's, bring them up. Let's empower them. Some people are very, very endowed. They know, but how to, present becomes a problem. So if you give them the opportunity to, practice, they become perfect. So we are the enemies. We are enemies. We shouldn't blame only the men and society and we the women too. We are stubborn.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
No, don't you think so? No, don't you think so? Doc, what do you say?
Doc, what do you think?
I'm also...
No. Auntie Ivy is asking you, what do you think about what
I'm
she said?
asking you. Don't you think that sometimes we are the enemies of the upcoming?
I've lost my volume.
Oh, you've lost your volume.
Okay.
Wow.
So, yes, that is it. We sometimes, the ladies, we have to come down from our high horse more. And
It's
then,
true.
be considerate. We are too, I don't know if it's jealousy or, intimidation or, I don't know how to describe it, but we should also, make ourselves approachable and then useful to them, to the upcoming ladies.
Yeah. There are some women too. They find themselves in an environment where the men allow them to thrive, but yet they are full of excuses. Oh, I can't do this. I can't. What do you want to say to such women before we bring our discussion to a close? Women who are full of excuses.
Yes, that's why I said it. You see, we are responsible for everything that happens to us. I said it. We are responsible. If you want to be discriminated at and you accept it, it will be. But if you don't accept it, you see, when you are given the opportunity and you give excuses, you give the opportunity, you give excuses. Next time when an opportunity that you will be interested in comes and they don't give it to you, you don't have to complain because you are not ready to work. There are some women like that. They are just not ready. As Doc said, they just Abna, you said it. They just want to be in their corner. They don't involve, they just stick to their shadows. Do it. They don't look here. They don't look there. Just do what they do, and then they go home. They don't want to do anything outside the box. There are a lot of women like that. There are a lot of women.
Wow.
And those are the women who complain the most.
It's true. Yeah, it's true.
Yes. And that is how the biases are formed. That's for women. They are full of excuses. As for women, need to give you them. So when you need her, she's going to pick her daughter from the hospital. She's taking her daughter to the hospital. These are the people who do that.
Wow.
So we just have to, we should empower ourselves. We should make ourselves ready for every opportunity and take advantage of every opportunity that comes, so that we can match up with the men.
Yes.
If the men are not giving excuses, we should try as much as possible not to, give such excuses.
Wow. Thank you.
So
Thank you
that's
so much.
it.
Yeah, thank you so much, ladies. In celebrating women, I've given women all over the world to showcase anything that they do aside their main jobs. So I call it side hustle. And I've got Auntie Pat that is now into this organic peanuts, peanut butter, plantain chips. These are organic stuff. So
wow.
today being Ghana's Independence Day and also celebrating women as well, I said, okay, just bring it on board. So if you're in UK or wherever you're watching me from, if you want organic, look, I have tasted Auntie Pat's peanut butter, and trust me, it's so nice, so delicious. So if you want to order in bulk, you can contact her, or you can contact me. I will gladly give a number to you, and then you can maybe take some from her. These are pure nuts with no additives. You just take a little, and your soup or your stew becomes perfect. So Auntie Pat, thank you so much for coming up with this beautiful business idea or business venture. And I just hope and pray that as we are celebrating women and also celebrating Ghana's 65th birthday, this business will thrive. Will thrive and do well. And also pray that Auntie Ivy, there'll be more doors opening towards you as well, especially in your creative arts industry, where you'll be able to mentor more up and coming young women. We are almost coming to an end of our discussion, and I've got a few comments here. I've got Priscilla Ankoma, who just said, I really agree with Dr. Patricia that God will ask the women who are not teaching the young ones. And she goes on to say that the Lord has deposited so much in you that God expects you to go out of your offices and teach the women. Thank you so much, Patricia Nkoma. Thank you for your wonderful comments. We've come to the end of our discussion. So ladies, if you have your final words for any young woman who thinks that I've listened to your speech, to your advice, but I'm still stuck, don't know what to do, or don't know where to begin. And also women who are still working and still facing these biases on a daily basis. Just, your final advice to these two categories of women, please.
Okay, so let me get start. I think that I didn't come this far by just a leap. It's taking some few small steps. Sometimes I get discouraged. Sometimes I cry. Sometimes I get broken. I've been through phases, and even still, I'm going through the mill, because God is molding me and shaping me to who He really wants me to be ultimately. So my advice to a woman is that God does not like mediocre work. Because if in the Bible it even says that when we are singing to Him in worship alone at home, we have to do it skillfully. So God expects us to be able to accomplish our tasks with such perfection, and we should be meticulous in what we do, so that if there's any opportunity, you'll be called upon.
Good.
So please, young ladies, middle-aged ladies, wherever you are, we are celebrating the International Women's Day, and it's a year of excellence. We don't want any mediocre work, or we don't want mediocrity this year. Let's aim at giving our best, being excellent in what we do. Please remember that it's not just, you don't just leap and then get into positions.
Yeah.
It's gradually proving yourself in the small things that will land you maybe an opportunity to prove yourself at a higher level.
Yeah.
So the few small steps towards your goal is important. It means that as a woman, you should set a goal, know where you want to be, and then take few small steps towards it, so that at the end of the day, you'll be able to get there. Whatever it is, please don't stop. Just take those small steps. Just don't stop. However small the step may be, it may be just adding a there to maybe a paragraph you are doing, but please just put the there, and then keep moving. And I believe that the sky will be the limit. Please, sometimes we women, we sleep in quotes. It's like we are just there, we don't want to move. But remember that in the Bible, while men slept, the enemy sowed tares among the wheat.
Yeah.
So as a woman, if you sleep too much, as if you rest on your oars and you don't move ahead, then there are going to be impediments in your way. So it's important that when you sleep, you wake up. It means that when you get tired, you rest a bit, keep going. So you accomplish what you have to accomplish, because God has created us for bigger and better things. The only person who will inhibit you is yourself. If you strategically position yourself, empower yourself, and do all that is necessary to make you better in your profession, in your home, and in your society, then by God's grace, the sky will be the limit to what you can accomplish. I'll say a happy International Women's Day to all women.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Auntie Ivy, do you have anything for us before we go, please?
Yes, yes. As we celebrate this year's International Women's Day, the theme, let's kick the bias, depends on us. It's all, we are responsible to kick the bias. Whatever is happening to any lady anywhere, if you don't come out, if you don't bring it out, if you don't speak out, no one would know. And the bias will still be there. So if you need help, let everybody know what is going on. Stand up to the bias, stand up to the discrimination. Let's change our mindset. Let's change our mindset for excellence. Let's prepare ourselves and empower ourselves. We are just like the men. We can do whatever the men can do. Set objectives and make sure that you meet your target. Let's empower ourselves and then wait for every opportunity. Let's take advantage of every opportunity so that we come up well as women of excellence. And then we, those who have made it a bit, let's change our mindset towards the upcoming ones. Let's stop the negative perceptions about them. Let's not be intimidated about them. Let's use them. Their weaknesses and their strengths can be used so that we all together can break the bias. Happy International Women's Day.
Wow. Thank you so much, ladies. Thank you so much for your time. I mean, considering how busy you women are, you've still made time to come and speak to us on how we can collectively break the bias by empowering ourselves, by educating ourselves, by making sure that we'll get ourselves ready so that if any opportunity just pops up, we'll be equally ready to match up to the task. And I'm so happy tonight that you've shared so much light on everything from the society in terms of the church, the family, like in our community and everything. You left no stone unturned. I mean, you've touched on everything. And for that matter, I'm so grateful because we've had a balanced discussion. And I know that anybody who chants on this interview would learn a lot from it. And if you're a young woman out there watching this interview, I urge you tonight not to give up on yourself. There's more in you. In fact, God has deposited a lot in you, and you can achieve a lot. In fact, let the sky be your starting point, not even your limit. There's a lot in you. And as we are celebrating International Women's Day, we are collectively saying that enough to the bias, enough to the discrimination, enough to the gender, and also inequalities. We are saying enough of that, because women, we can do much. We can do so much when given the chance. So there's so much discrimination in terms of pay, in terms of pension. We are saying enough. Enough. We are going to continue to talk. We are continuing to demonstrate until the right things are done. Because God created men, or a man and a woman, equal. So we are all equal in God's eyes. And so there's no point for this kind of discrimination. And also to churches who advise women not to empower themselves, not to educate themselves. Tonight, I urge you to go back and think about this, what you are doing to your women in the church. Because let's remember, women like Deborah, women like Ruth, women like Esther, these were empowered women that changed the world. So tonight, thank you so much, and happy Independence Day, happy International Women's Day, and also happy 65th Independence Day to Ghana. Thank you so much for watching, ladies. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for your company.